Hello, diary listeners. Happy Tuesday. My hope is that everyone had a spectacular Valentine's Day. I know I did. It was very chill, low key. I actually had a group of friend of mine's randomly stop by and give me some flowers and a glow stick. So special shout out to John and Courtney. I love you both and thank you both. That really meant a lot. This is part 2 of our time with Bailey Jene Moran of Tulsa, Oklahoma, and we're calling the second part of her diary entry Compounding Interest. So there you go. Now you kind of know why we went with banker terms. Thank you, Bailey. Thank you, listeners. Enjoy. Welcome to the Apprenticeship Diaries, where raw meets refined.
Let's be real, we're still working on refining.
What it took, what it takes, and the stories that are made.
Join us as we learn from professionals about how their stories began.
Doing the wrong every other on a nautical star. That's what you mark. Yep. You mark that every weather when you put like a little X in it, or you just color it in just so that you know, because it's.
I already did my mess up.
Yeah,
I've already done it. Well, these this mom and these two daughters came in and they had like a 3-heart design. Well, the mom was going to get the first heart filled in. The first daughter was going to get the second heart filled in. The third daughter was supposed to get the third heart filled in. The other ones were just supposed to be the lines.
Oh, shit.
I legit was like, as I was tattooing, I was like, I'm not going to fill in the first heart a second time. And I said it the whole time that I was setting up. The first, well, my brain was thinking you're supposed to, if you're right-handed, work bottom right and keep going over. Well, I filled it in because I was like, you're supposed to start over here. And as soon as I hit it, I barely did like a circle and you could already tell that I had hit the skin with that. And I was like, I probably turned pale white. Aww. Thomas walked past me and he goes, "You all right, Bales?" Because that's what they call me sometimes up there. And I was like,
I feel like I want to bail.
Real honest with you. Yeah, I was like, I just looked at her. I was like, I'm going to be real honest with you. The whole time that we've been laughing and saying we're not going to fill in the first heart, my brain said first heart, and we filled it in. So do you want 2 hearts filled in, and then your sister can have all 3 hearts filled in?
Right.
And she looked so pissed, but afterwards she's like, I love it more. But the second sister, she had never had a tattoo done before, and so she had to get all 3 hearts filled in, and she was cussing me. I was letting her, because I was like, I'm so sorry. I've never had 3 people come in at the first, I'm an apprentice. I've never had 3 people come in at the same time. This was overwhelming for me.
That's what you get for coming last.
Yeah. So I was like, you know what? I apologize.
That girl was the baby in every other sense. I am an older child, so I don't care. This is what I'm saying.
You're like, suffer.
Yeah. Like, suck it up, Buttercup. You were the baby. You got everything that she didn't get. Come on now.
Yep. Well, and it was funny because they were like, the little girl that came with them apparently was the third sister. She's just like 6 years old and wasn't able, obviously, to get tattooed. And I was like, when you guys come in, I'll add another heart and we can just color that one in red and that will represent her.
Oh, I like that. That's so sweet.
And they were like, that's a great idea. I was like, okay, please don't hurt me. I'm sorry.
No. Well, and that's the thing is that, like, I think that it's so human, like people get that mistakes happen. Like, part of, just getting tattooed is the experience on top of what you were thinking about getting. And so, like you said, a lot of times when that happens, people walk away being like, oh, I actually like it more. Like, it's kind of better now. But man, yeah, I hear you on those mess ups. They're rough. They're rough.
I was scared for my life. Like, I just stared at it and they were like, what's wrong? And I didn't talk for like maybe a minute. And then I was like, I'm going to be real honest with you. And when Thomas walked by and asked if I was okay, then he listened and he was like, you handled that very professionally. You just let them know what you did. You gave them a different option and they liked it. So you did a good job. And I was like, yeah, but I feel like I'm gonna like my heart's gonna fall out of my butt. Like
Yeah. Yeah, dude. I 100% feel you, man. Like I had a girl, I had ordered a whole ink set for her of glowing like blacklight ink. And this wasn't like a person who was just getting it for la di da. She was an audio engineer and she was regularly in nightclubs. So like she was around blacklight all the freaking time. And she loved Star Bright. And she wanted like the Star Bright star right by like her upper cheekbone. Well, we had put it there and then we said, oh, that doesn't really look a good spot. So we moved it again, but I hadn't wiped off the other stencil quite enough. So when I went to tattoo it, it was so little. I like fully tattooed it before I was like, oh my God, I tattooed the wrong one. And she was like, what? And I was like, on your face, like on your fucking face. And she was like, I said, I mean, I know you love Starbright, but like, could you maybe have two stars? Like, and be your own kind of thing?
and be your own Star Bright.
Your own kind of like expression of this and just say that she was an inspiration. Or you could just say I'm a dick and I fucked it up. But either way, like, what do you want me to do? And she was like, I guess tattoo both because now like it'll look better with both because of the way it was located. And I was like,
Yeah.
I think it looks really cute. I was like, I'm really sorry. You can't take it back. Like it's on her face. I felt awful. I'm sure that every time somebody's like, oh, I love your star, she's probably like, that fucking bitch. It's not where it was supposed to be. It was only supposed to be one.
You're like, all right, I will let you punch me in the face if you do not get mad at me for this.
She was bigger than me too, and she lifted a lot of heavy audio equipment. I'm pretty sure she could have really hurt me. But she was graceful, and yeah, it was rough. I've done so many mistakes in the grand scheme of things. I'll come off all of them. If there's a tattoo confessional that we can go to, that's kind of a neat idea, honestly.
Yeah. Like let's all confess, we know.
Go into a booth and tell everybody what we did. How does your husband's tattoo look now that it's healed?
It's held up great. And I mean, for my first one, my lines were pretty solid. So
that's awesome.
Yeah, I think because I went so slow that obviously they turned out good, but yeah. I was petrified.
Aw. Now, how did it get to like, did it just happen one day? Rico, you're gonna do your first tattoo today, get your guy?
Well, he had kept hinting kind of like, so do you think that you're ready? And I thought that he was just asking questions, but I guess he was being serious. And I was like, yeah, I think that I could probably do that. And he was like, well, call your husband.
Yeah. Awesome.
I'm like, okay. And so then he got in there and I'm like shaking as I'm drawing this design up. I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm so scared. But I eventually got over it. And then, of course, I always have like anxiety if someone's gonna like it or if they like think that if they're gonna be honest and be like this sucks or because
he's kind of tethered to you.
Yeah, like I'm like, okay, well, I mean, this is going on your skin. Like, I just want I am an apprentice. Like, let's say that for the 10th time before we go in here.
He's like, you are my wife. I already hitched my ride to this.
Yeah. He kept telling me the whole time. He's like, you're not going to be able to touch this. I don't care if you feel like you need to clean it up. Like, don't ever touch it after this. And I was like, I hate you.
No, that's a lot of people with like first tattoos. Like, they're kind of little precious gems. And, those first people are really, really, really blessings. Like, and it's really cool to see them later too, because the reason why I asked about how it was after it's healed is that you're thinking as you're doing it, like, oh, fuck, oh, fuck, oh, fuck. And then when you sit back after it's healed and you look at it with some time and a few more tattoos beyond you, you're like, oh,
Yeah.
actually isn't that bad. It's really not.
That's what the first I looked at it and I was like, God, I hate it. But like after that, I look at it sometimes and he'll just be standing there and I'm looking at his leg and I'm squinting and he's like, what are you doing? I'm like, well, it's not that bad. Like,
Yeah. Yeah. Well, you're kind of removed from the trauma of doing it, like, and all the anxiety and all of the thoughts, and you can properly just assess it for what it is. And once it's kind of removed from all of that, it's kind of like, hey, that wasn't too god awful. Like,
yeah,
I've seen a lot of tattoos like that, especially the ones like you mentioned where the client was really in pain and there were certain things that happen where they jerked or whatever. If you get like a lot of leg twitching and stuff like that, and you're just like, oh God, that needle went a little deep in there.
Yep.
I did not move away quick enough. And then you look at it later and you're like, wow, that sucked to put that tattoo on you, but it does not look like it sucked. So that's good. That's really good.
It's so terrifying too whenever they do jump. My best friend got tattooed by me the other day on the back of her calf and her leg jerked. And I try to watch and make sure I can pull away, whenever I feel like they're about to. And I was doing great for the most part on that. And then what happened is she was laying on her stomach watching Instagram reels, and one of those reels where like they were looking at something, a spider jumped out, like
God.
like the ones that are supposed to scare you, and her whole leg lifted up. So I was like, and like I basically like it. I immediately went way too far in the skin and it bled under the skin immediately. And I was like, that was not my fault. That was your fault.
I was like, you just got a little spider under the skin. That's what happened. Like, you got your bonus spider right there. It's gonna look all frayed underneath the skin later, but we'll make it work. She was like, she was your best friend.
So sorry. I was like, it's okay. I was like, what happened? And she showed me and I was like, that's pretty funny.
Oh my God, that's so funny. Yeah, word to the wise, do not watch things that'll make you jump. In the beginning of my career, I used to share comedy specials with my clients. They're like, you're a sadistic fuck. Like, what are you doing? And I was like, this is a great comedy special. And they're like, yeah, but I'm gonna be laughing. I'm like, no. You're gonna be fine. It's gonna be all right. In retrospect, that was probably grueling. They probably were just sitting there being like, "Oh my God, I want to laugh so bad, but I can't. I'm gonna mess this all up." But it was entertaining for me.
Yes, it was.
What did you tattoo with first? What kind of machine?
So, I actually had ordered my own. Rick had told me, he was like, all right, it's time that you order your machines. And I had pulled my 401k out from my last job to be able to pay for that. So I paid for 2 Bishop rotary machines.
Nice.
And I got like a pack for one of them. It came with the charging for the batteries and stuff, and some of them have like where you can convert them to where you can plug them in.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
and I ordered those, and I used my line machine, and then I used my shader.
Right on.
Rick told me later on if I wanted a color packer that I probably should save up, but that's, later on the line.
Got you. Right on. That's awesome. Have you used coils?
I have not, but in our last video we talked about he gave me a cup full of parts and dumped it out in front of me and made me draw a diagram and like lines to where the names of the parts were. And so apparently this machine his friend had made for him especially for him. And then he was like, all right, put it together. And so I did. He was like, for the most part, he was like, well, you're a smart cookie. You got most of it together. He's like, there's some parts here that obviously need to go into this machine, but he's like, take it apart and I'll show you how to put it together correctly. And I was like,
Oh,
okay. So really,
that's
it was
awesome.
only like my brain just went blank on the little baby washers. I can't remember the name of them right now, but
Yeah,
there
the
was
things
some.
in between certain
Yeah, and they're
nuts
the
and
smaller
bolts.
ones. I just can't think of the name of them right now. My brain is drawing a blank, but I think it starts with an S. That's gonna drive me crazy. But yeah, he was like, those definitely go in there. I was like,
Those
yeah.
definitely go in there. And you're
So
like,
I
all
put it
right.
together. Yeah, and then we plugged it in, and he was like, you gotta listen to it, make sure that it's at a good frequency, or else you could really mess somebody up. And I was like, okay. And
Yeah.
he told me later on that I would, but then he taught me how to make my own needles and everything
Nice.
else. And we went through that first, but I haven't used a coil machine yet. He told me that we will. It's just I haven't seen it happen.
I think you'll like it. It's really great lining.
Mm-hmm.
Lining is beautiful with a coil machine. Um, shading it, I mean, coils are just a little bit more cumbersome, like that's really it. But I find that their line qualities are really, really good. And definitely with like more traditional kind of style, it's just it's awesome.
Yeah.
I mean, they're awesome anyway. I mean, you can get a lot of versatility if you know how to do it. It's just that with those, when we have our pens, we can use cartridges and we can use like 5 in one sitting instead of just a liner and a shader. And then that's it. That's all you get.
Yep.
So, and you got to be a little bit more savvy when that's all of your tools.
Yeah, Rick told me that. He was like, yeah, I mean, if he's like coil machines, the lines are awesome. He's like, but you basically have to have a machine for everything that you're gonna do.
Yep. Yep. That's basically, and there's so many wires. Like now
Yeah.
that I'm cordless, I'm just like,
Yeah.
so awesome.
We're free.
I'm telling you, not having wires to get bound up in or get caught on something. Or right now, I have a chair that like all my chairs have to have rollerblade wheels because they can't have those canisters that catch your wires. And
Mm-hmm.
that's just a product of all the wires that have been in my life.
Yep.
Like,
Yep.
and now I don't have any. I mean, I have recording wires, but
Yeah.
yeah, no, I hear you. So in Oklahoma, I know that they have very particular standards for apprenticeships and things like that. Can you kind of talk about that a little bit, what you have to do?
Yeah. So you definitely start off with doing your test for getting your certificates for like your bloodborne pathogens and things like that. And then your apprenticeship lasts 2 years in Oklahoma. And I think that the end of this year, I am supposed to take my apprenticeship test.
Nice. Right
Yeah.
on.
And then after that, then I basically am allowed to tattoo
Right on.
and then go forward from there. So, of course, you've got to keep all of your things up to date, make sure that you hang them on your walls because people are supposed to be able to see them and see that you're certified.
Gotcha.
And then, uh, I think the hardest part of that is basically just studying, finding time to study when you're drawing.
Gotcha.
If they had like an audio book where they could just read it off, I would totally just listen and draw because
Yeah.
the attention span of me being able to read such monotone sentences
Yeah. No, I hear
is
you.
hard.
Yeah. Now, how is it different books that like different parts of it that it's broken up into? Is it one just book that you have to pretty much go through?
So you can go online. It's basically like a handbook. You can go
Okay.
on there and it does have sections that breaks it up for you. Um, but you go on there and I think it's in You have to search the Oklahoma Health Department, and then you look up the separate part of tattooing. And then once you go on there on the website, it'll give you like the handbook that you can read off of on there. That way you can study for your actual test.
I got you. Is it a multiple choice or is it multiple choice and practical?
I think it's multiple choice.
Oh, right on. Do they have to, does like a board person have to see you actually tattoo or break? Okay.
I think so. I'm pretty sure. I know for a fact that like you have to go into this room and do a test for the actual license part of it.
Right.
But I'm not for sure about the tattooing part.
Gotcha.
If they have to have a board person.
Yeah, I was curious if how correlated it was to the hair industry. And I know in Rhode Island, they have to have like a whole practical thing where they see you set up, break down, and then they kind of walk you through. I don't think they actually have to see you tattoo, but I think that they have to like be able to run you through like how do you prepare your client, how do you hold your machine, how do you set up, and all that kind of stuff. That's what Rhode Island was. And a lot of times they just come and have you, go to the place that you're working, and you bring a friend and they just visit you there and they look at you do all that stuff. But yeah, I was just curious because I just recently filled out some of the paperwork to come there, and I got into a very tense conversation with Kevin. I don't like Kevin. Matt was lovely. There was this beautiful dude named Matt who did help me quite a bit because there was on the temporary license part, there's this thing that's called an affidavit of personhood or like presence, like legal presence. It's this weird thing that I had never seen from any other place, but it was like a whole other section of the temporary licensure. And I was like, the hell is this shit? Like I had to call to even ask what it was. And me and Kevin got into it a little bit. I mean, I get that he just has a job to do and like that's it. But we were talking about this in the beginning of the podcast. Like these people enforce all this stuff and they have no idea like really what they're doing. They just know that they've been told this needs to be done for this reason and they don't budge from that. My whole thing was like, hey, bro, I am licensed in Rhode Island and I've kept a license in Rhode Island for almost 10 years now. And it is upstanding. I have to report every year. I have to renew it every year. I have to say that there's no felonies, that there's been no black marks against my license. For this license that I had to do a legal background check here in Maryland where I had to get fingerprinted and had a packet of my background and my legal like criminal record sent. I didn't even get a chance to look at it. I had to pay $35 to be fingerprinted and have my stuff sent to Rhode Island that I didn't get to look at, that some board person got to look at. I would be curious to see what the hell's on this. I hope nothing. It didn't keep me from getting a license. And I said, all this stuff that you're asking me to provide for you, I've already provided to the state of Rhode Island. Could my licensure in Rhode Island just kind of supplement this temporary license and I pay you $50? And he was like, no, we need all that. And I was like, well, that's dumb.
Yeah.
It's really dumb.
Yeah, Kevin.
I was really dumb, Kevin. I was like, so you're telling me that you guys need all of this paperwork when you could have one paper and a check? And all you could do is make a phone call to Rhode Island. And he was like, yeah. And I was like, that's very dumb, Kevin. That's very dumb. I was like, you should probably recommend to your superior or anybody that like there should be some certain provisions for certain states that when you know that their licensure is to a certain standard and a person has held a licensure for a certain amount of time, that there should, I feel like there should be some waiver. I'll still pay the $50. You still get the money. But like, do you understand that nobody calls who's trying to, like, if I was trying to be a problem for your state, which is the whole point of all of this, was like the health thing of it, I wouldn't call you to figure out how to do the paperwork correctly. Kevin.
Yeah.
Like I
this
wouldn't be
just seems
calling
a heck of a
you.
lot harder.
I was like, I am trying to actually do business in the beautiful state of Oklahoma, and this is a righteous pain in the ass, bro.
And Kevin's like, you're shit out of luck.
Yeah, he's just like, you're gonna have to do it, man. Like, I just spend most of my time killing brain cells when I'm not here, and I just work for the man.
I just work here, man.
Yeah, that's basically Kevin. That was his whole shtick. Like, he was just like, I don't know what you want me to tell you. I have no power here. If I brought up that, nobody'd care. And I was just like, you should assess your job. I was just like,
you should interrupt a meeting, Kevin.
I mean, it gets to that point, Bailey, when you have gone through all of this, like for your job, and you know what you've been through to do your job, and then you meet these board member people that are just like, what was the qualification for your job? I'm just curious for you to enforce this on me, and all what did you have to do?
Yep. You're like, do you even know what I do for a living?
You get really like,
yeah, I want to speak to your supervisor.
It gets very Karen. It gets very Karen.
Kevin's the male version of a Karen.
Yeah, but no, I was the Karen. I was the like barky. I just don't have the haircut, but like that's over the phone. I'm sure that's how I sounded.
Hey, you know where the hairstylist people are. That's your next step.
I did have that haircut at one point. I looked good in it though. I was very young, and what was her face? Victoria Beckham had it first.
Ooh.
Yeah. I had it before
I had
her.
the Miley Cyrus haircut before it was cool, but I did not look better in it than she did. So,
I mean, I don't know. I'd have to judge that for myself.
If I sent you this picture, you would hysterically laugh. It's like my 6th grade middle school picture, and
nobody was cute middle school.
Yeah, well, I had missed picture day, and they sent the smallest person on the yearbook staff to take my picture, and I'm 5'9.5".
Yes, you are.
The view of my double chin. And then they spelled my name wrong in the yearbook, and I have this horrible haircut, and I have a zit like the size of a planet on my cheek. So, like, of course, I thought that I was hot shit that year, but I got humbled very fast. That was...
No, all you learned was like the dynamics of a good photo shoot. Like that's all I'm hearing. Miley Cyrus has a team of people. She has a makeup crew. She has a hair crew. She has a photographer. She has a director. She can sing, like, you know, like she's swinging from wrecking balls. Like it.
Yeah. She's got it all.
Yeah, like you
I was working on a budget. That was my problem.
That was a raw unveiling. I feel like that's very on par for middle school. I don't think that was a good judge. It's personally, okay. I think you could do it again.
Mm-hmm. I'll redo it this time. We'll see how it goes.
There you go. Let's see. So you've got this year. You'll probably be taking your test. What's your style? What are you into, like, tattooing the most?
I'm a girl's girl. Like, although I feel like skulls are super easy, you know. I like to draw them. They're, you know, it's just a natural shape that I tend to kind of lean towards, but I like cutesy girly stuff. Like I like more of like the 90s/80s where it's like colorful and like it's not exactly having to be perfect. It's just like you wanted a tattoo and it's like, you know, you flip through these flash sheet designs where it's like the floral with like the swirlies and all the good stuff, like lower back tattoos I want to bring back. I think those are cute.
You did say that last time.
Know. I think that my style will probably reflect who I am as a person.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, and I feel like, you know, as a person, I don't really fit into a box. I just kind of do and work with, you know, whatever I want, but it's going to be, you know, it's going to stand out and it's going to be fun. And Um, I think that, to work with other people and kind of be able to put my own twist on it because they like who I am and they like my stuff. I think I'm probably going to develop almost my own sort of category.
Yeah.
Although I do like the 90s stuff, I think that I don't know if I would be able to really put my things in a box, if I
Yeah.
could describe it that way. I want the people to have a good time. I want to have a good time, and I want it to stand out. I think the most that I hear about my stuff is I'm already at the beginning, so it's mostly just whatever idea is being brought to me.
Right.
But I get told that my creativity and my attraction to color is really gonna stand out.
I would say that too. I think that's probably going to be your big thing. I remember you saying that you wanted to bring back low back tattoos and
Yeah.
more of the 90s vibe and like reinvent it, but like, bring it into the modern age and add a bit of your own spin and like edgy but girly, Yeah, I like it.
Yeah, I think, and I'm wearing like a tracksuit today that says 90s baby on it. So if that doesn't tell you, and
I love it.
it's hot pink, of course, because I like the Barbie vibe. But yeah, I mean, there's a lot of artists that inspire me,
Hmm.
and I don't really want to put myself in a box anyway because I want to do anything and everything, and I really want to get my hands on any style that I possibly can so that I can see how I like it.
I think that's refreshing. I think that a lot of people, at least that I see right now, kind of shoot themselves in the foot or cut their nose off to spite their face. Like they're kind of like, this is my style. And then they
Yeah.
cut off everything else and they're very early in the game. And whilst their style is all right, like
Mhm.
it's not bad, it's good. Um, it's just, there's a lot you're limiting yourself as to what you can do. And I feel like in the beginning, you really want to get the people working, play with a lot of things, make sure it's playful, make sure that you're always tasking yourself. And that was more like the vibe when I was being raised in the tattoo industry is like you took on the challenge of what walked in and made it cool and you
Yep.
made it your own. And it sounds like that's what you're going to be doing, which is really, really good instead of being
Mhm.
like, I'm this, and
Yeah.
yeah, it's a good way to be, I think.
Yeah. And I've
Yeah.
never, I mean, even as a person, I've never really put myself into any sort of description. I feel like whenever you tell people something like that, you're kind of like to give myself a description would be to end my growth. I think that that's cutting myself short. Like we said, like if I'm already giving myself a title, that leaves no room for change.
Hmm. Yeah. Yeah.
So I don't want to give myself a definition because by definition, I'm already limiting myself.
I
So
agree.
definition leaves no room for change. And that's all I've ever, done is I want to be here. I want to be over there. I want to be a part of
Yeah.
everything. And I want to try everything out at least once. And, I mean, even once, I always end up circling back to it at a different point in my life. So I think things will come to me whenever I'm ready for them.
Heck yeah, girl. I love it. I love it. What was I gonna ask you? Uh that's a great way to be. I'm really happy to hear that. Um it just left my brain what I was going to ask you. I guess I can say at this point are you charging for your tattoos or are you still like how do you work it at this point?
So things that are like 3 inch by 3 inch, usually are like, say, a simple line tattoo,
Mhm.
something that's like, say they want a heart and they come in, I charge like $60.
Okay. Right
And
on.
then something a little bit more than that, more medium sized. It just depends. We've been shooting towards 120 right now.
Nice. That's a good thing.
But
Yeah.
currently, we're working on this weekend. We're actually having a flash event for
Aw.
Gabby's medical bills. One of our artists, she had something medical come up, and the bills were kind of expensive. So we're having a flash event, and basically, I'm actually over at one of our front sales associates' house. She has a
Aw.
sticker machine, and we've made stickers today. We did linoleum prints. We did,
Oh, that's
yeah,
awesome.
yeah. We're trying to make as many things as possible, not only tattoos, to raise as much money as we can for Gabby and her medical bills.
Awesome. Is it a kind of Valentine kind of inspired?
Yeah,
Oh, that's
yeah. We're
awesome.
doing the Valentine's Day theme. Zura, she is awesome at making stickers, and she has her own art stuff too that I'm sure she's going to be selling. She did a linoleum print too. A lot of her artwork is sigils. She does
Nice.
impeccable artwork when it comes to symmetry. She can just do it by hand, and
Wow.
it's like a mirror. It's crazy, but
That is
um,
crazy.
she would like to apprentice after I get done apprenticing, and I'm super rooting for her. I hope that she gets to do all of her artwork, because I definitely feel like people will come to her for her lines.
Heck yeah, man. Well, and
Mhm.
it sounds like Rick has really created a very good place where everybody really loves each other and tries to help each other out. Because, why would you help somebody with their medical bills if like, you
Yeah.
guys weren't a really good, caring place where everybody looks out for each other? I hope Gabby's, doing better. Is she, everything good now? Like,
Well, what happened was is she had a lump in her throat,
oh man.
and so she had surgery for that, and it ended up being like her insurance wouldn't pay for it or something.
Oh my
So,
God.
yeah, and she said that it was about like 10 grand. So,
Oh man, poor baby. You
yeah,
can't
so
have that.
yeah, and
Like,
I mean you can pay bills, it's not like you have to pay them immediately up front for a medical bill, but we want to help her as much as possible to knock down that,
yeah.
big number. And
Yeah.
I hope that a lot of people come through. We all did like Valentine's Day flash, and we made
Well,
Valentine's Day stickers, and we're all gonna dress like pinks and reds that day.
oh, I love that. Well, and it's
Mhm.
a celebration of love, and love is, there's multifacets of love. It's not just romantic love. There's brotherly
Yeah,
love. There's, affectionate love as far as like, how you feel towards, your pets and things like that. There's so
yeah.
many different expressions. So I love that. Valentine's Day happens to be, I think it is my favorite holiday. It's a very weird one to have, but I've always looked at it as, well, if you don't like your time on Valentine's Day, then you have nobody to blame but yourself because
Yep.
you're the one who picked all these people.
Yeah.
And if you don't like it, then it's an eye opener.
Yep.
Next would probably be Thanksgiving because food,
Yep. For
just
sure.
awesome.
I think mine's Valentine's Day too, and
Yeah.
then Halloween.
Yep. Halloween's a dope one. I feel like Halloween around here anyway has just gotten a lot more like tame because of just like I live in a community where there's a lot of community restrictions and stuff, so it's kind of
Mhm.
made it a little lame. But Halloween's a big one up there.
I think it's been lame everywhere. I think it's becoming a holiday that people like our generation is like meh, like
Yeah, it's weird.
we're yeah, like, and I'm like, we can't let this die. We've been doing this for like 2,000 years now.
I think I just need a solid like party. Like, do you remember those like mystery parties that people used to do where somebody dies and
Yes.
like you have to figure out who it is? Like a whole theme mystery party where we do it like Great Gatsby or something like that. You have to like dress in a theme. That would
Yeah.
be fun for like Halloween. I would totally dig that.
We get
Um,
bored during Thanksgiving, so my mom has a themed Thanksgiving every
you
year.
told me, yes. Talk about
Yes.
this.
Yeah. What was last year's? Oh, we came dressed as each other. Like we had to draw a name out of a hat and come dressed as each other. And when I walked in, my sister's hair is dyed black, and they were like, they only looked at me for a little bit.
Oh my
And then
goodness.
they were like, oh my God, like Bailey, that's you, not Ashlyn. Like it surprised them. They were
That's
like, what?
hilarious.
And so I basically won that one. But we've had that. We had to dress as the Golden Girls.
That was awesome. There was a white trash
Yes.
one, I remember.
Yes, that one was my favorite.
You got some
I
good pictures from that girl.
I did.
It was so awesome. And then
I
everything
dressed
was,
as white trash Barbie. I put fake hickeys on my neck and I did like eyeliner and like blue eyeshadow. And I put a cigarette behind my ear and I wore like pink and leopard print and like a fur vest and like high-waisted shorts, and it just was awful.
wasn't the food's also inspired by the theme too, right?
Yes. My mom usually makes the food inspired by it. She made pigs in a blanket for the white trash one. And then we
Oh,
had like for dessert, when I forgot what it's called, but the pudding looks like dirt and she put gummy worms
oh,
in
dirt
there.
cake. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
The dirt cake. That is a special right there, man.
Yep. Yep.
That would be a nice like thing to like because it's so refreshing. Like your inner child would just be all about that. I'm
I
sure that
love
was
it.
a favorite. That's really, really cool. You guys are a lot of fun. I'm really excited to like come see you. I really am. Is there anything that we didn't cover that you feel like you really want to get out there and express?
I remember last time you asked me this question
Mm.
and I had ideas and I am completely drawing a blank right now. I think just for the future people out there, like who want to be an apprentice, if they're listening to this, that like just because you feel like that you're not doing good enough doesn't mean that doing nothing is going to help. Because for the longest time, I was scared to follow my dream, but you have to first get off the bench in order to succeed, and that's your first success. So, um, I definitely feel like even if it's bad, when you bring in your portfolio, they're not so much looking for perfectionism, more of a like they're looking at the possibility.
Yeah.
They're yeah, they're not looking to see if you're perfect. They're looking to see if there's potential in what you're bringing them. So I didn't have a portfolio coming in. I just had, pictures from what I did. But now that I do have a portfolio, uh, a lot of it's not perfect. But I mean, you can see the growth in what I did in just a year. And if you produce something once a week for a year, you're going to be so amazed about how far you've come. So, like, it really is about, like, you can't stop working, you can't get lazy. Um, do make time for yourself because it's important to recharge, but just know that everything that you do, your future self is going to thank you for.
I think that was amazing. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That's a great answer. Um, Beautiful. Couldn't have said it better. And even in terms of this podcast, you didn't let being an apprentice stop you from submitting an entry. And I can't wait to catch up with you in a few years from now and doing another one and seeing where you're at there because this will,
Yeah.
like you said, future
Mm-hmm.
self, who knows? That's a great thing to add. How can people and what is the best way for people to reach out to you, to work with you? How can they follow you? All that good stuff.
Um, so my Instagram is the at psycho_Barbie tattoo. You can DM me. I work every day except for Wednesdays and Thursdays are my days off. I'll try to answer you on my day off, but that's mostly time for me to regroup and also to work on things that I'm trying to post.
Mhm.
So I might be a little bit busy, but I will get to you. And then I do have a Facebook. My name is Bailey Moran. Um, you can also message me on there. But if you are in the area and you're in Tulsa and you want to come to Karma, just call the shop number, see my availability, and if they say that you can come in for a walk-in, you can do that, or you can schedule a consultation through our website. It's karmabiomodifications.net.
Beautiful, beautiful. And tell Rick thank you for all of it. Had he not come out to paradise and just been lovely, and we started talking in an elevator randomly.
Yeah.
This would have never happened. I mean, it just really was wonderful, and we have a lot to thank him for. So, yeah, thank you so much, Bailey. I appreciate your time, hun. I think this was perfect. We got it all out.
I'm so happy too, and I really feel like we've made a connection, and that I'm going to be seeing a lot more of you in the future. If you ever want to come to our themed Thanksgiving, I'll invite you next year. You can bring God. Rico, and we'll try to make a cozy spot for you, and I'll make sure to tell you the dress code and what you can bring as a side dish.
That's hunting season too, man.
I know, but the 1st of October is usually whenever the best time is.
Is it?
Yeah.
Maybe Friendsgiving, but we could do it. Oh,
yeah.
You know what? I'm not gonna look a gift horse in the mouth. I am. What's the worst that's gonna happen? We just can't make it. But that is such a wonderful thing to be invited to your family Thanksgiving. I am all about it. That would be amazing. I'll tell Rico. But we definitely want to come out and hang with you. I'm sorry he can't come out this time, but I just know I'm gonna love Oklahoma, and I know I'm gonna love hanging out with you guys, and yeah, we'll keep.
Yeah, we'll send you back some goodies.
I know, I'm so excited. Maybe I might even I might collect one of your tattoos too.
I'll paint him a magnet so he doesn't feel left out.
Oh, that's so sweet. That's what we were doing when we were like meeting.
Yep.
I was like, you want to come paint with us? Rico's there painting Bob Ross paintings on magnets.
He did a great job.
He did. He does. He's got a lot of confidence. That's what really pushes him through. But like you said, it's all in that attitude, man. Like, you got to get off the bench. You got to just do it. And he just dives face first.
Yeah. Oh, and before we get off here, I'm actually working on 2 pretty giant paintings. I wanted them to get done before you get here so that I can show you. I also do acrylic. I feel like I haven't posted anything in a while, but they're very large, and I'm working on 2 things. I'll probably send you a picture later so that you can kind of get just a glimpse of them, but so that you can finally see a finished art piece from me, because I left some behind whenever I last saw you. But
you did. I should bring them just so you can finish them.
Yeah, because
I still got them. I would love that. I'm honored. I am so honored for your time. Twice now. But this is great because, like you said, people will actually be able to hear you and gather so much and follow you. I know you like your name and your Instagram is building. We have a lot more time behind it now, so it's probably even better that we did this. And yeah, I'm excited to watch you grow, girl. This is so exciting.
I can't wait to get a tattoo from you, and I hope that you have safe travels.
Thank you. I will. I'm sure of it. I'm sure. But thank you so much. You're a blessing. And so is Rick and Karma. I mean, it's just that kind of name, isn't it?
Yeah.
All right, lovely. Well, I don't want to keep you too much longer because you got your wonderful event to get ready for. And I just appreciate you. Thank you.
Thank you for having me. I'll talk to you later.
All right, girl. Have a great night.
Bye.
Okay, diary listeners, that wraps it with our time with Bailey Jene Moran. Go do yourself a favor and follow this budding new talent. You can find her on Instagram at psycho_Barbie tattoo. And I wish I could say that Bailey's journey is going to start and end in her apprenticeship at Karma. But I just got word that's not going to happen. And as regrettable as these situations go, I'd like to think that everybody is doing what's best for them, and you know, that we don't know it all, and as much as we might have the best intentions when it comes to all things, that life happens, and we have to trust that it's all meant to have a greater purpose. So, after this whole, things happen a mile a minute in this world. You guys heard about where Bailey was when this was recorded. It was right before Valentine's Day. So that just tells you how fast things can turn around in this world. But that's why I call this the Apprenticeship Diaries, is because things change. But definitely go over. I see nothing but stars all the way when it comes to Bailey. She's a wonderful person, has so much passion. I enjoy her so much as a human being. Like I said, I'd like to keep in touch with her. She was a sheer pleasure to get to meet, and I do not think that there was anything, to meet somebody at Paradise Tattoo Convention and to be brought together with people. There's a certain amount of like, I think, spiritual or divine almost connection there, and everybody that's attracted and brought to that location, I think that they're brought there very specifically, and Bailey definitely stood out. So girl, thank you for your time. We wish you nothing but beautiful things in the future. Please reach out to me, to Rico, if you want to combine things. We'd love to come out and visit you, maybe go hunting. I would love to have art days. Like, it's a small world when it comes to the tattoo community, so please stay in touch. Everyone, wish Bailey well in her future, wherever it takes her. But just like her mother, I have nothing but confidence that she is going to do remarkably well in this industry, and that she will be a very good tattoo artist by the end of it. So God bless, and everyone have a very powerful week. I love you.
Thanks for listening. You can find the Apprenticeship Diaries on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. Our IG is _apprenticeship_diaries. If you would like to offer constructive criticism or an interview, drop us an email at theapprenticeshipdiaries@gmail.com. We look forward to hearing from our listeners.